I suppose our grass was anything from 4 to 5 foot high, maybe even higher. There's a lot of dumping out here. We even had syringes and that we had to bring in people to take them away.
Last year you couldn't get up there. It was like 8 foot of grass.
Very wild. Nettles, very high grass.
It was fairly rough, like, it was bad.
We were approached by Tipperary Development Company who had funding to start projects, and they asked us if we would do a project in the area to try and maintain it. So when we had the funding behind us, we got together as a group and said, well, we'll give it a try. And we took it from there then, and it came on very well, and they're continuously supporting us.
Here's the result here behind us. They're all up here cleaning and whatever, like, you know what I mean? They're here every night, like, you know. They couldn't use it at all before.
Project would be I would call it a collaborative project between the TOOS programme and the local and community development programme. We began a piece of work with Cooleens. It really came about, I met with Tutsi Lawler one morning and we were looking at the field. They had a lovely skittles pitch there, but you couldn't play skittles. I mean, the grass was 6 foot high and the field wasn't being used. So we spoke about what needed to happen, and you know, there would have been the expectation that maybe the local authority could have come and cut the field, but the reality of it was that the local authority wouldn't have the manpower or the resources to do it. So we said, right, how about we try and look at how we can do that within the community itself. So what we did then was we identified there was one particular chap from the community whose name had come up on the TOOS programme, and his name was Morris Lynch. So Morris was approached and said, look, would you be interested in working on this project? And of course Morris was well up for it. And then we spoke to the local authority, to the Borough Council, and they gave us a grant to buy a strimmer and a lawnmower.
Well, it's just over a year ago we came out here to start this. We decided to take it on. It was very derelict and overgrown and a dump site. But it took an awful lot of hard work at the beginning to get it in some kind of state that we could manage it. Morris Lynch started here just around the time we started the project. He started working for TOOS, and he came in here, and Morris is a very handy person. He'll turn his hand to anything, and he gave 12 months here. That's the length of time with TOOS, and he more or less transformed the place. He's actually coming back here now on a voluntary basis.
I was offered the course through TOOS and I took it on, so the place was in a bad way. So the grass was 3 foot, 4 foot high, so they had to be taken all down here. There was 1 or 2 paths go through for tares, that was it.
He cut the grass, he cleaned the area with us, and he cut the grass, used a strimmer, maintained it, put up fence and built the fencing around our allotment, dug our allotment with us. There was nothing he didn't turn his hand to.
So the whole community came in behind Morris and what he was trying to do, and literally they moved earth, they excavated, they found concrete where it shouldn't have been, and they literally cleared the field. And I suppose out of that then, that gave them the confidence to look at what else they might do in the field.
Well, we put murals on the walls, and everyone from young and old took part in it, and kind of most of them have a significance in the area. And then we put in flowers, allotment, and up to recently we got a car. We stripped the car down and we put flowers into it and we painted it, which is a lovely centrepiece here.
Yeah, we've seen it on the internet and we went for it, so we were promised one first of all, it didn't come through, but eventually it did. But we looked for a frame of a car, we got a whole car, so then we had to get people to strip it. And just everyone started to do pictures with the flowers on it. Seems to be a right attraction though, you know. When people coming through there and they come over, oh my god, the car, like. So, brilliant idea.
I've only come to know Pamela since I began working on the project in Cooleens with the community there. Pamela has incredible talent, and she's very much involved in the residents group there and very much involved in what's going on.
To the credit to the community, like, she's brilliant. The walls along the back field, everyone helping out, the young going up to the adults.
We also have a memorial garden. These are all people going back through the years that have lived in the estate and have passed away. But I find that a lot of people that have moved out of the estate have come back to see the memorial wall because their family and their friends' names are on it.
Tootsie, she's there day and night. She is mindful of everybody in her community. Everything that she does has everybody in mind. And you know, she's putting herself outside of maybe her own comfort zone maybe to do that. Every single person in that project contributes wholeheartedly, and that's the critical thing. And it's about sustainability of the project. It's not about us. We're in and gone. We're just there in the background, and the community themselves is doing this absolutely and entirely themselves, and that's the critical thing. And think about the way in which you would have engaged with, say, the county council before, the way you would have engaged with other services. Is it different for you now?
Of course it's different because, well, for starters, when we started off we only knew maybe of 2 or 3 agencies out there. Now we know of a lot more of them. And I mean, every time a new agency comes in, they brings in another agency. And where the county council is concerned, we're kind of doing work and they see what we're doing. And they like to engage in it as well. Like, and I mean, we've had no problems with the county council. And anytime we ring them, they're there and then. But I mean, they can see, with no dumping or anything else, it helps their job. A lot of the agencies don't come to you, you have to go to them.
Okay.
Now you will get the ones that will, like Tipperary Development Company, did approach us to do this project. And after that then it was a case of branching out, like, but if you don't butt in there, like, they're not going to come forward.
Like, is having a physical place, has that been very important in the community?
I think where mental health is concerned it has, yes, definitely, because you can come out here and you can sit down out here, or you can come out and do a bit of weeding, or you have somewhere to go if you want to get out of the house for an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you want to get away for an hour and be on your own, or come out and talk to someone, because there's always kind of someone here.
Yeah.
So I mean, physically and mentally, I think it has been an advantage.
Yeah.
When they come out here, there's always someone here, and you will sit down. Once you start to relax, you will start to talk, like, you know, when you're chatting.
Yeah.
And hopefully then, eventually, when our container is up and running, we might be able to do an information office out of it for the community in the surrounding areas. And any organisation that wants to leave in information, it can go out from the container because it will be there. And of course, it'd be great fun digging the allotment. I think we were nearly in Australia digging clothes out of it. Of course, beautiful, the kids were all digging for treasure. I mean, that got the digging done for us, you know. And they seen an insect and they ran.
Oh yeah, okay.
But then once we had Marion Clark here, she's a horticulturist. And when she explained them what the insects do in the ground, the good guys and the bad guys, it was gone to stage the kids were picking them up. But they were running from before that.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, there's all a bit of knowledge. And the memorial wall will show that to you. Because we're going back through generations of people that were here. But I mean, you'll get the families that'll tell you, well, my grandmother, my grandfather grew spuds over there, or done this down here, or, you know, and I think with the field being developed as well, we kind of trace back history on the field, which helped a lot too, things we didn't know, and now the kids know it, like, you know, I mean, we've seen, as you see there on our container, and that's a scene from Clonmel,
Linked
which
to Mr.
Clonmel
Cromwell.
fired his cannon guns from this field
Yeah.
onto the town. And we didn't know that when we started out.
And the building of your shed, and that was a big project that the men undertook here.
What do we do? That's for helping, got it.
We come up with the ideas, the women.
Yeah,
You know,
of
like I
course.
said, Facebook, this, that and the
Yeah.
other. And we come out to these poor men and said, look, this is what we'd like.
Yeah.
So they have to try and work around it and build it. And
Yes.
I'd say there's times when it would fit
Yeah.
to bury us in the allotment, like, you know. So far we're overground still. Every time we think of something new, like, and I mean, to be able to use the materials, you can cut down on spending money
Yeah.
once you know how to use them on the right way. And again, I mean, voluntary people are coming in, they'd ask you, like, a bench look nice there, can I make a bench for you? Can I plant something there? And this is the way it goes, and it builds up.
Yeah.
And that's what brings in the other communities, because all these little things help. I think the fact that you have a solid community group makes an awful difference. And the fact that we have found the organisations and we know then there's meetings out there and we can go to these meetings with confidence because now we know what we're talking about and what we want. You know what I mean? It isn't like we have funding which you have to put in your area, it's have you funding we want to put in our area. And I mean that makes an awful difference. Because I mean there's more and more agencies coming on board to do these meetings and come to these meetings. And I mean they never heard of us, we never heard of them, but once you go to the meetings you get to know them. So I mean what one agency wouldn't have funding for, you get it off another one, it depends on what you're doing. So it's a case of keeping track on everyone. No one gets away like. Well, without Tipperary Development Company, whatever the other agencies contributing here, without South Tipperary Development Company, we wouldn't have this today. We just would not have this because there's Phil and her company, and they have backed us all the way. The whole way, and I really cannot put them down, and I wouldn't let anyone put them down. And I'd recommend them to anyone. And it's a company I think that should be kept in the country